Hey everybody, in today's video I'm going to be showing you the basics of how to view your wrist heart rate information on your Garmin Forerunner 955 watch. I'm going to be using the solar version in today's video, but it shouldn't matter whether you've got the solar or non-solar version. They're both going to have this feature. I'll also say that I'm not going to get into all the different things you can do with the heart rate. There's a whole lot of things you can do on this watch. You can connect third-party heart rate monitors. You can view your heart rate information during an exercise. You can view your recovery heart rate information. We're just talking about basics. I've got the watch on my wrist. I want to see my heart rate information, the basic stuff. This is also a feature, if you're not interested in it, you can turn off on the watch. So maybe you are interested in other things on the watch, like the barometer, the altimeter, the thermometer, but you don't care about the exercise information. You can turn off your wrist heart rate monitoring to save some battery life. You could also turn off activity tracking if you're not interested in that. So let's get started. The most basic way you can see your heart rate information is just have the watch on your wrist and have the wrist heart rate monitoring turned on. It's going to basically be using a sensor on the back of the watch, and it will always tell you what your current heart rate is. So you can see mine up there is at 78. It'll continue to fluctuate as I'm wearing the watch. Once I take the watch off my wrist, the heart rate sensor will turn off to preserve battery life, and it will not record any data. That's your basic way to look at it. You're not going to see anything other than your current heart rate. The next thing you can do, as with most features on this watch, is you can download what's called the Glance. There's a wrist heart rate glance that will give you more information. Now, this is a touchscreen enabled watch. If you have touchscreen turned on, you can simply swipe up or down to get to your glance list. If you're somebody like me that's not really a touchscreen person, you could also use the buttons. You've got the up button, it's the middle button on the left-hand side, and you've got the down button, which is the bottom left button. You can press either one of those to get into your glance list. Now, by default, you should have the heart rate glance installed. If you don't have it, it's on your watch. You just have to go to the very bottom here and edit your glances and make it viewable. You can customize this glance list any way you want to show the information that you're interested in. You can see that's what the heart rate glance looks for me. Basically, it looks like the same thing we saw on my watch face, except I've got some different colors for my different heart rate zones. You'll notice that 87 is in the low zone. If it was in the high zone, that value would move over to show me which heart rate zone I'm currently in. If I want to see more information, I can click on the watch face to go into the zone, or I can press the top right button, which is the start or stop button, and it'll give me some more information. The first thing I'm going to see is a screen that shows me my current heart rate as well as my heart rate information for the last 4 hours. You can see what my resting heart rate is and then the trend of my heart rate over the last 4 hours with my high and low values. The only other thing you can really do in here is you can press the down button and you can go see the resting heart rate information for the last 7 days. So what we're looking at here is my average resting heart rate is 65, and then the trend of the last 7 days. You'll notice the first couple of days on here don't show any values. That's because during those days I either wasn't wearing my watch or I was wearing my watch, didn't have wrist heart rate monitoring turned on, and there was nothing for the watch to record. Basic information, again, there's a whole lot of other things you can do. There's wrist heart rate alerts, so you can set an alert. If your wrist heart rate gets above a certain value, it can alert you. If it gets below a certain value, it can alert you. Again, lots of other things. I've done some videos on those kinds of things in the past. Once you're done viewing your heart rate information, you can simply press the back button a couple of times, get back to your main watch face. And that's how we look at the heart rate information for our wrist on our Garmin Forerunner 955. As always, I hope the video helps.